It's his first match against his old club since his £330,000 transfer to Arsenal last summer. In exactly 5 years at Newcastle, MacDonald assumed folk hero proportions. He scored better than 1 goal every 2 games, played in 2 Wembley finals, and he won 9 England caps. Yet there are those who are saying that Newcastle have done better since MacDonald left than he has done for Arsenal. All of which adds spice to a match which should go some way towards settling the argument. Paddy Howard at number 6 also plays against his old club. He's come in for Peter Simpson, who's injured, and that's the only change from the Arsenal side which lost in midweek in the League Cup to Queen's Park Rangers. As always, plenty of Newcastle supporters down from the northeast to welcome a side that's doing better in the First Division at this moment than for some time past. The Newcastle team is the one that's taken them through this successful unbeaten run. Some speculation about who's going to mark MacDonald today. I suspect that number 2, Irving Nattrass, might see rather more of him than most. Today's referee is Eric Reid from Bristol. And the undersoil heating has certainly done its job at Highbury today. But for that, the match might not have gone on as Arsenal kick off in the white shorts, playing from right to left. The pitch is hard down the centre, but it's softer on the flanks, especially on the far side where the sun has been shining. That's MacDonald. George Armstrong with the throw. And that's the first corner. Tommy Craig. Howard goes forward. MacDonald standing almost on the goal line. And the North Bank provide the chant. Away by Burns. You can see 1 or 2 players treading very gingerly on the top surface where it's very frosty. Here's O'Leary for Arsenal. Stapleton. Nelson. Stapleton's made a run to the right. This is Brady. Now Ross. Armstrong out on the right wing. O'Leary is pushed forward into the middle. Away by Nolte. Now it's Gowling. Doing well too. Cannell is in the middle, being marked at the moment by Nelson. 2 other players arriving now, still Gowling. And Ross facing his own goal, doing the safe thing on this sort of surface. You'll see Nattrass, the number 2, up for the corner. He normally goes to the near post, left short for Cassidy. Looking for Gowling at the near post, and that's a goal kick. Rice. Played through to MacDonald. Arsenal have done that a few times, and Mahoney had to be quick there. Gowling with Burns running on, and Rice missed it, and Burns is in with a chance, which he takes well. Caught perhaps by the conditions, but no mistake at all from Nicky Burns, and he is the player that in recent weeks defenders have found hard to pick up. He floats in behind Gowling and Cannell, and when he got away from Rice there and went in on Rimmer, the finish was decisive. So less than 15 minutes gone, and Newcastle United maintain their good form. O'Leary. Plenty of noise from the Newcastle end. And before long we may well hear the Bladen races. McDonald though for Arsenal, good turn. Years exactly this season since Newcastle last won the First Division Championship. Leaning there by O'Leary on Gowling. Gowling always the target for the high balls. That was a low one, but he was still the target. McCaffrey's header. Cassidy who fell. The defence is pushed out looking for an offside decision, and Newcastle had a couple of players running through trying to defeat that. Newcastle get players behind the ball so quickly that it's making Arsenal's progress appear very heavy and laborious. Here's Brady. He's found Nelson. McDonald moving in on the cross. Came to Stapleton, it then came to Ross. And has hit the post and gone in. Trevor Ross, the scorer. His right foot is always dangerous. It came out to him conveniently, he kept it down. Mike Mahoney got a hand to it. It then hit the post and went in. So while the defenders competed with McDonald for the original ball, the knockdown came to Ross and Arsenal are level. Crowd warming to what's becoming a most interesting match. Good ball from Alan Ball. Rice now, two in the middle. Ball again. Nelson's up in the box now with three others. Here's O'Leary. Away by Nolte. Brady's shot. And that's a corner, I think. Deflection off Nolte. Arsenal suddenly finding their form and their touch. And Newcastle's turn now to be examined. Howard is up. Stapleton is doing well in the air. Got up there above McCaffrey. Having an interesting battle in the air. This is Cassidy. McDonald to ball. Armstrong. Good cross. McDonald coming in. That's some good play there from Barraclough. He's onside, is Stapleton. Controlled it superbly and was fouled, surely, by Natras. But the referee gives an indirect free kick. Obstruction was the offence. And Stapleton was the player foul. But no complaints there from Arsenal. Natras impeding his man, that's obstruction. And the correct interpretation there of the law, an indirect free kick. Referee insisting on the 10-yard ruling. It's come to Alan Ball. Premiership. Malcolm McDonald with the header, and McDonald bites the hand that used to feed him. Arsenal 2, Newcastle 1. And inevitably, Super Mac being shouted from the North Bank. Alan Ball, who's played this last 10 minutes, had an awful lot to do with the way Arsenal have come from behind to take the lead. Gowling in the middle, so is Barraclough. Appeals for handball against Cassidy, not given. It's a good cross. Barraclough appeals for handball against Nelson, also waved away. Well, the linesman had a good view of the first one and the referee of the second, and they shook their head each time. Here's Nelson. Brady. Stapleton heading it down. Tommy Craig finding it hard to impose his authority in midfield, but Ball is doing just that for Arsenal, as he proved then. Rice. Stapleton is coming in on this. It was hard for the keeper, and Ball knocking it back. Stapleton's in there. And Mahoney having to perform all sorts of acrobatics. Coming up to half-time, Arsenal leading by 2-1. Ball to Armstrong. O'Leary. Likes to come forward, the big number 5, and does so sometimes with quite a lot of skill too. McDonald's header, and it's Stapleton going in, and he did tremendously well there, and it's in. It was over the line before Nolte got it out, and Stapleton has scored for Arsenal. And no wonder they say that Stapleton's the sort of player that chases lost causes. Some forwards might have given that ball up, but he didn't. He went on running, he got it round from a difficult angle, and although Jeff Nolte hooked it out, the linesman spotted that the ball was over the line, and Arsenal lead by 3-1. The goal coming in time added on for stoppages at the end of the first half. Cassidy. Here's Gowling. Barraclough screaming on the far post. He's completely unmarked. They've asked Cassidy to do rather too much once or twice out there without support. A half that the Arsenal fans will look back on very happily, especially as their side went a goal down so early on. They came back from that. They controlled the middle of the field from then on. Ball and Brady in fine form, and the reward was 3 very good goals. So Newcastle begin the second half with Malcolm McDonald slipping immediately. Newcastle with no option now, I should think, but to push more men forward. Arsenal, meantime, are just 1 goal away from their best score of the season, which was 4 against Birmingham at the beginning of November. Rice. Armstrong. Nelson putting Howard under a little bit of pressure. Straying into that area of the field where the ground is hardest, and Howard had to hurry to get the ball away. Gowling, number 10. On by Stapleton. And Burns is onside. A chance here for his second. Good stop by Rimmer. Look at that, centre half as well. Intelligent goalkeeping. He had to come all the way because Burns was clean through. There's Armstrong again doing some valuable work. Really driven through, and they're onside, and Mahoney right out to do what Rimmer did earlier. Defenders again getting caught trying to turn on this frosty pitch. Ball. Brady. Another promising move from Arsenal. Brady going on himself. What a fine run! And another good piece of handling by Mahoney. Lovely run by Brady. The skid patch there in the middle of the field. And here's Barraclough against Howard. He's got so much awareness on the ball, Brady. He seems to work out all the alternatives and play the best ball 9 times out of 10. That's not a bad ball from Ross either to Armstrong. Stapleton's on the far side, so is MacDonald. Stapleton, MacDonald! One or two defenders looking towards the linesman, and there must have been just perhaps a hint of offside. But MacDonald has scored his second of the afternoon. It's Arsenal's fourth. Mickey Burns races to the linesman, and he's still complaining that when Stapleton knocked the ball across, MacDonald was in an offside position, and the conversation is still going on. But there was no flag, the goal stands, and it's Arsenal 4, Newcastle 1. It was a fine move, that by Arsenal, from the moment Trevor Ross played the first ball. And that's the first time, by the way, that MacDonald has scored 2 goals in a match since he joined Arsenal. For Gordon Lee on the right, the Newcastle manager. McCaffrey. Ball straight to ball, and the through ball's on. MacDonald accelerating, looking for a hat-trick, but finding Stapleton. And that's a sign of the pressure that Newcastle are under. McCaffrey was glad to get the ball out of play. Those are the balls MacDonald thrives on. Through the middle. That was given away by Craig. Here's Brady. Stapleton up again. There's MacDonald again! He hit the bar! So close to a hat-trick. Stapleton set the chance up, and MacDonald hammered it, and it crashed against the bar. No wonder they're going super Mac on the terraces. Ball. MacDonald's coming in on this as well. Oh, great save! Magnificent save. And the third one just won't go in for MacDonald. Beautiful header. And a flying save from Mahoney. Ball offside, the flag's up. It's gone down again now. Newcastle at 6s and 7s at the back. intensity. There are 4 striped shirts in the middle, being only marked by 4. The dummy by Barraclough, the shot by Gowling. And Alan Gowling gets one back for Newcastle. Although I wonder how much the pitch had to do with that. Jimmy Rimmer didn't seem to be able to get across. He looked to be stranded. It wasn't a terribly hard shot. But they had got men in the penalty area. And Alan Gowling makes it 4-2. Goal coming in the 69th minute. O'Leary for Arsenal. Well, the crowd are loving this. Good ball from Cassidy for Burns, and he's through here again. Rimmer right out, and that is 4-3. Mickey Burns second. And Newcastle have come from nowhere to score 2 goals within a minute. The Arsenal defence split on the through ball. Alan Ball tried to catch him, he couldn't. Burns went on, and he's finishing there every bit as good as it was when he opened the scoring in this thrilling match. Still 20 minutes left, and now Newcastle are right back in it. And Arsenal, I think, are going to make a substitution. John Matthews has come on, and Pat Rice has gone off. If one of those McDonald efforts had gone in and made it 5-1, we would have been talking about a landslide. As it is, we're talking about a match that's still very competitive. Gordon Lee must realise now there's a chance here of picking up at least a point. 10 minutes to go. And here's ball in lots of space. McDonald wants a through ball, and he's got it. Is this the hat-trick? And again Mahoney stopped him. It's going to come to Armstrong. And he hit the bar. Mahoney stopping McDonald for what must be the 3rd time, if not the 4th. And then Armstrong's little chip rolling across the crossbar. But Mahoney touched that, I'm sure, because it's a throw-in on the far side to Arsenal. Nelson. McDonald. Well, he's had 2, but he honestly could have had 6. Natras. Again the through ball, and Burns is through again. Good save by Rimmer, and Burns nearly getting the rebound in. No wonder he looks aggrieved. That would have been his 3rd and the equaliser had it gone in, but Jimmy Rimmer making it quite an afternoon for goalkeepers at both ends. There's Kennedy. Cannell's header. Gowling. Burns is stealing in again. Well played by Alan Ball. And Stapleton now. Matthews is the player in the middle. Have to check to stop being offside. Here comes Ross. Stapleton on the near post. McDonald! And there it is. The man that seems to write the football stories better than boys' fiction has gone and done it all over again. A hat-trick against his old club. The first time he's met them since joining Arsenal. And if you tried to write the story in advance, you couldn't have done it better. 3 for McDonald, and in the last minute, he makes it 5-3 for Arsenal. Surely that's the end of the Newcastle resistance now. And it's only fair to say that on the game as a whole, Arsenal have been the better side. There he goes again. And there's a Newcastle player offside there. Tommy Craig. I think Alan Ball has certainly won the battle of the diminutive midfield players. He's outfoxed Tommy Craig more often than not. Here he is again. Nice ball. Notes his header, but only to Stapleton, was it? No, Kennedy. And Gowling now on with Cannell inside unmarked, if he can be found. And Gowling fouled by O'Leary, but I think just outside. Gowling inquires, and a free kick it is on the edge of the area. Burns going in, and Rimmer doing well. Exciting stuff right to the last. Mickey Burns hurrying with the corner. That can't be long now. Corner again. Referee's already added on over 2 minutes of time for stoppages. Cannell, and off the line, Nolte, good save. Oh. Cannell with the initial header, little George Armstrong on the goal line got it out, and Nolte again brings the best out of Rimmer. Well taken by Rimmer, and McDonald is 1 against 1 up front, but it doesn't matter. The whistle goes. Arsenal have beaten Newcastle by 5 goals to 3, and McDonald has scored 3. Well, there were plenty of threes in his transfer fee, but he'll prefer to remember the 3 scored today. Arsenal, who were a goal behind early on, get a great ovation as they